Hey everybody, it's Taylor with Boydston Grove, and this week we're going to be making this stand for a cello. Let's get into it. Now Christina is the cellist in the family, so that is why we are going to be building this stand. It's not the first one I've built. I originally printed off this plan to build the first one. It's free online by Chrissy Kemp? Something like that. It's up there in the blue. Anyways, it's the same plan that I use for the one that I built now. The reason I like this is because it's a basic square box that gives the exact dimensions you need to hold the cello. So once you get the exact dimensions, you can alter it and change it to make it look how you want. But this is a great base to go off of. Now, because my wife has a great love for mid-century furniture and the way it looks, I decided to try to work that into it. And I also thought it would be a really cool idea if we could somehow make this case kind of form around the cello, or look like it's forming around the cello. All right, let's get into it. Now, all of the lumber that we're using on this project is actually scrap lumber that I got from tearing out a built-in in someone's house. It is nice furniture grade plywood, so it will work perfectly. Alright, let's talk about the technique that we're using for this cello case. It's called kerfing, or kerf cutting. The kerf is the space, the negative area that is chipped away by the blade. So when you make a blade cut, that negative area that is left by the blade is called the kerf. So kerf cutting is when we're taking advantage of these cutaways to form wood like this. Now, normally people will use maybe a table saw for kerf cutting because the table saw blade is exactly 1/8 of an inch thick. And I tend to find that if you go 1/4 inch, make your cuts every 1/4 inch, then you have an evenness of 1/8 inch gaps with 1/8 inch pieces of wood left over. That way you will get a nice, even curve. It's usually easiest to use plywood because plywood is already made up of many different layers of wood, so that way when you're making your kerf cuts, you can leave one layer intact and nice and strong so that it'll give that ability for it to give that nice bend. You can do this with hardwoods, but it's can be really hard to not have the wood crack or splinter. Usually it has to be dampened or left wet to soak for a while before this will work. Plywood just works a lot better and is a lot quicker to do this with. And the higher quality plywood you have, the better it's going to work. Now, when I did mine, I left just a smidge left, if you could see that. Just a smidge at the top, like just at the top layer is what I left. And that is enough to make it nice and rigid. You'll see it stands up on its own, but it also has a really nice bend and is really smooth right here. I used original Gorilla Glue on all the kerf cuts because it expands, and that way it can fill all these gaps that we have left where we made our cuts. It's not absolutely necessary because by the time we add the front and the back, it's going to be plenty sturdy enough, but I figured I'd just take that extra precaution and make sure all those gaps are filled so it would be nice and sturdy. The inside doesn't have to be perfectly cleaned out because we are going to line the whole inside with foam and batting and material, but I did want to get out the larger pieces, that way it doesn't create any bumps or lumps that I have to work around. Because of all the furniture we work on, we always have a box full of spare mid-century style legs, so I just needed to go through those and find a couple that seemed like they were the right fit for this project. The 4 that I found were okay. The only problem is they didn't have any way to attach them, so I ended up drilling through the inside of the case and into the leg. It ended up working okay. Absolutely love how this turned out. Actually, a lot better than I expected. And we incidentally got some cool flame patterns across the front through the wood grain. We just put a couple coats of polyurethane on it because we love the way the natural wood looks. Fits the cello great. I'm going to leave a link to the plans that I used to base this on down below, but that is just for the base box. I tweaked it a lot for this. And the plan is a great base, so that if you want something to go off of to make your own, it's a great way to start. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like it. If you want to see other projects we're working on, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And we would love to hear what you think of this project in the comments down below. Or if you got some pictures you would like to share of cool projects you're working on, please post them so we can check them out. Thanks for watching, be safe, and have a great day.